that is a Vaughan Bodie original pencil sketch.
What?
And that's the book that the cover of the sketch is the book.
No way.
So that's an original print book of that sketch. So, yeah.
See, it's never going to be a fucking basic podcast. This is fucking great.
You want to look at it? I'll give you a little walk.
Yeah, as long as the signal holds up, let's go.
Right.
Let's go for a walk.
So that's the sketch.
Oh wow! What?
And that's the book. So it's sort of that's the initial idea.
Dude, that's priceless right there.
Killa Kela podcast. KillaKelaOfficial.com.
Street Culture TV.
Instagram UK Frontline.
Beatbox created.
Killa Kela.
And we're here to talk about world music and street culture.
Killa Kela podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, Killa Kela podcast, live and direct, central London, or as central as you could be. Choose to be, want to be, you don't want to be anywhere else, baby pie. It's not worth your time. And with over 600 podcasts, there's no escaping it. Okay, people, our sponsors, the mighty GKNIFTYHEADS, have 10,000 play-to-earn GraffPunks NFTs to give away. Get ready as London's white trash goes blockchain digital with Bitcoin Cash tokens locked into them to claim. Get yourselves over to the website GKNIFTYHEADS.com and play to earn now. Inside the house today, we're transmitting or whatever to sunny Bristol to a gentleman. He's almost like an enigma. Gentleman in the UK side of things that is pretty much one of my favourite character design drawers, and the ability to manipulate whatever comes from his mind onto paper, onto surface, onto books, onto illustrations. There's absolutely everything. And if you don't know about him, well, then you're missing a big trick. And if you do know about him, he's a friend of yours and a friend of mine. Cheo in the building. How are you, my brother?
I'm very well, thank you.
Now, for those of you who ain't watching and just listening, you're in for a right treat. Cheo is right in the depths, isn't it? Depths of the cave.
My weird mind spraying all over the walls and everywhere.
It's kind of like the A to Z.
This is what my mind is like. It's just a cluttered mess.
It's kind of like the A to Z of popular culture in one.
No, it's not. Yeah, it's a bit cliche.
It's incredible. It kind of harks back to which I guess some of the best artists actually achieve is retaining a sense of childhood.
I've never escaped. I was born and I've stayed at the same level my whole life. I've just been a waif and stray and off in my own head forever. So yeah, nothing's changed.
Well, it's yielded some amazing characters and designs for starters, man. Jeez.
Oh, cheers. Yeah, as a kid, it was just I was just lost in my own thoughts, and I had my own world, and I used to just draw and draw and draw. So, and it's never left me. There was a bit of a hiatus, and that was a bad time. So, yeah. Other than that, it's every day, all day.
I find characters like you really interesting, brother. Just the whole idea that that these amazing you're right to describe it as a world like a landscape of caricatures and designs that you've almost got to retain a sense of innocence to to be able to project that kind of stuff onto paper, no?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I like to be kind of fun. I mean, in real life, I'm a miserable old git, but what I try to portray is a little bit of fun. And if I draw something and the corner of my mouth lifts a little, and I think, yeah, that's good enough. It made me smirk. So I'm sat here pulling faces.
What elements make you smirk? What bit is it? Is it the contours of the way you design something, or it's just an idea that suddenly propels into uncharted territory? What?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it. The smiling is just getting it out of my head because I've got very sort of. I have an idea, and then it has to come out. or it's almost like a physical pain. I just overthink it and think it and think it, but once it's on paper, then it's clear, and then I can move on to the next one. But it's kind of, that's it, because I just sketch all day, so it's idea bang, and I just keep going like that. So it's just like a conveyor belt, and if it gets too, clogged up at the front, then the missus will tell me to go and do some drawing to get it out of my head, and then I can move on then.
God, so
But yeah, that's the way I work.
No, this is absolutely fascinating. Like, so if you don't do it, what's the worst?
It's
What's going to happen?
almost painful.
Painful.
Yeah, is I don't know how to express it. It's kind of like he's in the way, so I have to, but the minute it goes on paper, it's like it's clear and it's gone. Because I've got thousands upon thousands of sketches that are just sort of just head clearers, and sometimes I repeat images, but I try not to draw the same thing over and over again. It's sort of the same kind of thing, but mix it up and what have you. But yeah, it's just sort of ideas just keep coming, so I've got to get them out.
Bruv, you're a weapon. You're an absolute weapon.
I don't know.
Okay, so let's talk about these kind of almost like get it out scenarios.
Yeah.
Because MCs do that as well. I think there's the freestyling aspect which keeps you nimble on patterns and flows. But then when it comes to actually sitting down and writing something, that's a more methodical process. Talk to me about your sketching scribbles, just get it out of your head. Like what differentiates that? And we're talking about levels here. What differentiates that level to something a little bit more refined?
Well, I mean, it depends on how much I like the drawing as well. If it's just an idea and it comes out and I've got to get it down, then it could stay at that level at a pencil sketch. But then if I feel like I want to take it further, then I'll ink it and then I'll colour it, because I've probably got the image of it coloured in my head. So I've got to get I'm sounding really strange. I've got to get that coloured image out. But then once it's down, because I've got this weird talent, I can look at something and then I can remember it and draw it. It doesn't matter what it is.
Wow, it's like
if I walk into a room, I've only got to walk into a room once, and then I can 10 years later I can draw that room.
What?
I can draw.
That's incredible.
I can draw like every workplace that I've ever worked in my whole life. I could do a floor plan of it perfectly.
Really? So
yeah,
you in a cartoonistic kind of way. I mean, would you border like lend your hand to architecture and such?
Well, stranger. I worked in a chocolate factory at one point, and somebody saw me drawing. I was just doodling because I was working in a chocolate factory, and I got called up to work in the planning department in the chocolate factory, and I was doing the plans for the whole chocolate factory. And I'd just go out with a tape measure, do some measurements, come back, and then be able to draw it without sort of, doing any sketches or anything. I could remember where I'd walked, redraw it, and then do the measurements.
Dude, I'm really struggling to keep my mouth closed, right? Not even for the chocolate factory aspect.
It was an amazing job.
Yeah.
Well, it was because my father was the engineer in there.
Right.
And we used to, every Christmas, we were allowed to go in by ourselves, me and my brother. And we were allowed to get set loose in a chocolate factory and just help ourselves. And then
Cheo and the chocolate factory.
No, mate, it's a bit. But he said to us there was dangerous parts, and he said to us the Chewit monster lived in the basement. So we were scared. We were scared to go downstairs. It's where all the dangerous shit was,
Yeah. Well, those ideas alone, when you see some of your characterized, I get the impression that that's certainly a childhood influence there.
Yeah,
The monsters and the animals which you're able to manipulate into a certain style is really quite something. And if you don't mind, I mean, have you heard of a guy called Rick Markey?
I'm not sure. I
Dude,
may have
Rick,
seen it. So.
he was one of the original kind of between that Warner Brothers era and transfer to Disney. He was really prominent in doing mad
Right.
characters. I'll send you some photos because he's an anomaly, but
Yeah.
in many respects I put you up there with him, and that's really possibly the highest acclaim I can give you because
Well,
he was such
very
a
much.
methodist to what he did, and very much
Yeah.
like yourself, he would just absorb absolutely everything that was around him. Napkin, drawn that, and
Yeah.
all
It's the
sorts of
same.
stuff.
I can in the morning when I go and walk the dog, I'll see something while I'm walking the dog and I'll remember it and then I'll put it into it. May be a pipe that's bent around a lamppost or a sticker or a piece of wire that I saw, and I'll remember it and then stick it in a drawing when I get home from walking the dog. Yeah,
Wow,
a
wow.
bit, it's nuts,
Well,
but
yeah, but then when you look at some of the ways in which characters by design are built, it's almost over accentuating certain aspects of their features. And I can imagine a pipe or something like that it would merge into your head as well. Why don't I just elongate this or twist this up?
yeah.
I can imagine there's a bit of a process to that as well, right?
Well, and also obviously there's the Bodhi influence as well. Because just of form and style. I mean, it was that came around because the way I drew anyway was kind of Bodhi.
Mm,
So when I first discovered Bodhi, it was like, this is my guy. You know what I mean?
mind
This
blown.
sings to me. This is hello. Where have you been all my life? So
We've
I
been
used
waiting
to
for you,
just
Cheo. We've been
yeah.
waiting.
So it kind of, and then obviously you take on his influence and Mark as well. And I mean, I hope that I'm not taking on too much influence from him, but obviously there was an influence, you know.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, now you mention it, there is a clear descript
Yeah.
of it's not even an influence, and I find that most intriguing about creatives and people that are actually that kind of move the dial a little bit more. It doesn't take anything away from their influences, but it just suggests
Mm.
to me that you're able to process it in a particular way that doesn't plagiarize. It's almost like you're
Right.
putting it
Yeah.
through the Cheo machine.
Yeah. I just say that. I mean, obviously, some people can see the influence of it, but yeah. So it's say I hope it's not to an extent everyone thinks, oh, he's just copying Bodhi or whatever.
No,
But
definitely not, my brother. Definitely not.
I do copy Bodhi now and again, but I take it because it's like if I can't get something out, I I redraw a Bodhi
Hmm.
because it's so natural that, and then I haven't got to think. I can
Yeah.
just draw it, So I sort of use it as a mind clearer. Yeah,
Nice, nice, nice. So like
mm.
a palate cleanser.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah,
Giving Bodhi a
yeah.
run for his money, I'm sure. So the upbringing was chocolate factories, but what was the journey as a young person getting into art?
um, the journey. What I was the quiet kid in the corner. I didn't say much. I didn't really speak until I was about 5. My brother used to talk for me. He used to lead
Wow.
me around and talk for me. Um, and he used to protect me, and I was his little goblin, you know what I mean? But yeah, I used to just, my mum used to just, they used to carry around paper and a pencil, and if it was anywhere, if we were eating or if we were relatives or anything like that, they'd just plop it down on the table, and then Scott would be just off in his world, and I'll just deal with it by myself. I might say hello now and again, but that's about it. And I've pretty much been the same my whole life.
That's crazy.
You know, I sort of, I don't know, if I'm not drawing, I'm thinking about it.
Really?
I mean, my dad was a good artist as well, and so was my grandmother. I mean, and my dad was like, how can I explain him? Well, did you see that photograph there?
Yeah.
That's him jumping barrels on ice.
What?
And you see that skateboard?
Yeah.
That's one he made in the 70s. He started making skateboards. He used to mess around making hot rods, and I mean, we had nothing. My mum was a lump of coal and my dad was a work boot, you know what I mean? It was like, we were just, and I was just a snotty nosed kid rolling around in the dirt. But he used to do cool stuff like this.
Wow.
And he did loads, or he was always off doing something, and he was an engineer like you've never see. He could make anything out of anything. He could just get bits and make something. So he was like, yeah, he was a cool dude.
That's incredible. So it's genetics.
I don't know. See, I suppose it could be, but my brother's really artistic as well. He's a model maker. He makes really cool, like, models. Give me a second.
Oh, here we go. See, this is the beauty of Zoom, you see. This is where it gets really fun.
My brother made the.
Oh my goodness. Now, if you ain't watching and just listening, that is sick.
Yeah. Yeah, so he makes stuff like that, and I draw and paint. He can draw, but he's not that into it. He's more. I can remember walking in his bedroom once, and I thought, what's that on the side? And he had hand carved a chain out of a matchstick using a Stanley blade.
Oh, I've seen these online. This is crazy. Wow.
It's just nuts. Yeah, but yeah, he's an incredible model maker.
You know, with a lot of artists, and I do find this with, you know, graffiti guys, it's this compulsive need and desire. It's almost like a constant itch, isn't it? A lot of it isn't
Yeah.
a lot of it isn't built around family orientation and where their origins come from in terms of creativity. A lot of it is like, no, I just want to go out and batter. just want to go and batter something. You know what I mean? You know, there's only a few.
Well, I mean, at the start for me, it was just boredom, which I think was a lot of people's, you know, sort of introduction to it, because it was the early days. You know what I mean? You had nothing to do, and if you were an artist, you had no outlet for anyone to see it. So it was like, bollocks, I'm going to spray it up a wall at 12 o'clock at night and someone to get to see it.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I've seen the progression of everything from skateboarding to video to anything. So it was just, you would get little bits and pieces of it. You know, you'd see the odd bit of graffiti. I mean, you'd get the odd tag, but it wasn't really tags when I first started. 83, I started tagging.
Wow.
So I think I was 11. So it was sort of right at the birth of it. I think it may have been an electro album, or it may have been something in like you know, when hip hop first started creeping over, and you get it on top of the pops, and there'll be some whack piece in the background. You know what I mean? And it just little bits and trickles like that, because I was a break dancer as well, and so it sort of all mingled together.
No way.
But
See
yeah,
what
I was
you
there
b-boyed
right at
as
the start.
well. Wow.
Yeah, I wasn't bad either. I was pretty good. Do a
You tasty.
back-to-back windmill when I was 40 still.
You still got the moves, baby. Still got the moves.
Yeah, the back isn't there, but I'm still there. Yeah.
Hip hop was like this massive, like it was almost like a sandstorm that just like blitzed the whole of the world simultaneously, wasn't
Nuts.
it? You know?
Yeah, it was amazing. Really amazing. I mean, it caught me straight away because I used to listen to things like Madness and Bad Manners and ska and stuff like that. You know, it was sort of that kind of thing.
Mm.
And then hip hop sort of came along, and it was just like, yeah, you're for me.
Yeah.
I'll have some of that. You know.
Yeah. Bristol
right.
Bristol had a real, you know, I mean, still does hold a real strong crown to the evolution of UK hip hop and graffiti as a whole, doesn't it? You know.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up with it. I mean, well, you know, one of my best and longest friends, I expect, is Deed.
Hell yeah! Parlour Talk crew.
Well, we've known each other since we were 6 years old.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Undivided Attention, some of the biggest tunes in my life. I love those guys. Still love them now.
Yeah. He's a complicated guy, but I love him to bits.
Oh my God, you've just sent my mind. I mean, and big up Sir Beans as well. God, I mean,
I still bump into him.
Yeah, Aspects as well. Jeez, wow.
Yeah, I know it's nuts. But yeah, I mean, that's who I knocked around with. Deed. It's pretty much who I first started painting with.
Really?
Because we used to paint together back in where we grew up.
I love you, Deed. You're the best. You really are the best. And I have fond memories of hanging out with you, brother. Mixtapes, everything, you know. And yeah, you're right, because that was part of the DNA, even in that crew, the Undivided Attention. For those of you who don't know and are completely lost in our own nostalgia here, like, you know, these guys are prevalent out there. And it was a real integration of graph.
Yeah, it was just a way, it followed the path, you know, it just, I mean, and it was Bristolian, which was unique in itself.
Yeah.
Because, you know, having a shitty accent like this and trying to rap and get anywhere, you know, good luck.
Good luck with that one. I absolutely love accent raps. I don't care what no one says. Like, you know, I find the whole, I love that endearment of regionality and, you know, and Bristol, no one can do it like Bristol. And I've always been a fan for those reasons, you know.
It's always been a really weird place though, you know. Even growing up, it was just like, I don't know, it wasn't like everywhere else. It was very artistic and it was very, you know, everything about it was just a little bit odd, you know, and a bit more sort of open-minded or a bit, it was just, it was strange. Where I grew up, I was right on the edge of Bristol, as far east as you can get, you know, it's fields beyond. So,
really? Wow.
Yeah, and it was like there was a sort of split in the floor and this sort of artistic demons came out and captured all the little runts that hung around in Kingswood, because there's a lot of names that came out of Kingswood. You
really?
know, like, yeah, it was a rough old place. I was either running from a fight or to one. It was just stressful growing up there, but you know, you don't get much choice. Yeah, we was just fighting and minging. But anyway, it's some of the writers like Low Key and Soccer and Kato and
wow,
they're all from like a 1 mile distance from where I grew up.
That's some OG names right there.
Yeah, it's loads of them. Yeah,
I always used to rate
Cheo as well.
Cheo as well.
Yeah, Cheo and because we had the TUB crew, the United Bombers in the 80s, and we were like a gang of rats just destroying the place in the 80s until we got arrested. Obviously, the Operation Anderson, you've probably heard of that.
Yeah, that's
So we all got caught up in that. and then it kind of just sort of fizzled out. And some went to crack, some went to this, some went to that, and I
Really?
just kind of settled down. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it destroyed us.
Yeah, I don't. I think, in retrospect, looking back on it now, it was people often do these things, and even nowadays they say, well, you know, graffiti ain't that bad compared to what I could be doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And we were just a bunch of bored teenagers, you know. I mean, there are laws, you know what I mean, but we weren't going out and setting fire to shit, or just it was just we were just writing our names everywhere.
Yeah.
But the police already said that they wanted to make an example of us,
Right.
just so it would stop, because it was so bad in Bristol, you know. So
Really?
they just wanted it to stop, and they certainly achieved that.
Yeah.
Until, well, it's only a few years, because then because it had a reputation in the 80s for graffiti. You then had people coming from all over the place to go to university in Bristol.
Yeah.
And then they would start painting, and a whole new scene popped up, you know, in the 90s. Whole new batch.
Yeah.
So one went, you know, like all the old guys went, and then a new scene popped up, and it was like, well, that didn't work, you know.
Yeah, totally. And you guys just kept on following through. I remember, now you come to mention it, I you know, and the resourcefulness of Bristol. It's almost like a punk aesthetic that you guys kind of put within the UK hip hop thing. I remember ID Crisis fanzine.
Right.
Which was,
Okay.
I think this was another Deed carnation. I'm almost certain it was. ID Crisis. Looking great.
And we had there was a really good skate fanzine as well. There was around the time that sort of Viz was sort of just born, you know, when there was a really good, I forgot the name of it.
Not Acne, was it? ACNE?
No, it was Drugs and Bugs or something like that. Or
right.
Yeah, and it was amazing. It was just full of drawings and weird shit, you know what I mean? But it was that was all over Bristol, you know. People would had this really sort of, because it's a small city, I guess it was sort of village mentality where you could create stuff and you knew that people would see it.
And it would fly, yeah.
Yeah, because there's a lot of like-minded fart heads that are willing to look at it. You know?
Yeah, but there's also, and this is something that always resonated with me when in my first introductions to the Bristol scene, which again comes from the aforementioned, you know. It was this message and an understanding of, it was you guys weren't so regionalized in being transferable to the rest of the country. Arguably, London can often be quite regionalized, where right. Sometimes it can be quite. You have to kind of live here in many respects, I suppose. I don't know. I could be wrong, but when it comes to humor, when it comes to honesty and being able to communicate on a British level, I feel Bristol does that. It does that in its rap.
That's quite flattering, but I can see what you mean. I mean, I think with London, you say, because it's so big, you sort of, it's like villages within a big place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you sort of stick to your village kind of thing. Whereas Bristol is, there is little bits of it that are different, obviously, but it's not that big that it's sort of segregated that much.
Yeah, it's like an incubator, isn't it?
We're all the same, you know?
Yeah. And then you get these amazing, you know, Portishead, Massive Attack, tricky moments that, you know, and then of course.
And I'm friends with Chrissy Chris from 3PM as well.
Nice. Wow.
So,
yeah.
So it's all that kind of stuff. And as you say, you got Massive Attack, and it's just,
Yeah. I mean, the contributions, to particularly music and graffiti, you know, it's just incredible. Big up Inky, of course.
Can't even pain in the ass.
You can't even move without saying, you know what I mean? If we're coming in the West Country, we can't not big him up. And, you know, and then, you know, even the Banksy effect, we'll call it that, you know, I mean, it's just an incredible pot of creative output. And this must have really driven because there is this aesthetic of yours that's super like, it's got that technical hip hop nod, you know.
Yeah.
I think that's what I love about Cheo's stuff is that it's you can see the fault lines, you can see where it's coming from.
Yeah, I mean, it is old hip hop. I like to say that I haven't changed because I used to draw hip hop in the 80s. I'm still drawing hip hop now, you know what I mean? But still from the 80s.
Yeah. but it's not broken. This is the point.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, you know, you got big fat chains and all that kind of stuff. And I like to, what is it? Anthropomorphize, I think's the word. So I get anthropomorphize.
Wow.
Which is when you take an inanimate object and then you put human characteristics in it. So you'd like get a cassette tape and then bend it slightly and put legs on it and feet. That's anthropomorphizing something.
You're an anthropomorphist.
Yeah, I suppose so. I've been called worse. But it's, yeah, that kind of stuff. Because at the end of the day, you can only draw so many daft faces.
Yeah.
You know, well, I look at a pen and think, oh, that look cool with some Adidas on it, you know, and so I draw that.
You must be an absolute hoot after a couple of pints, I'll tell you that much. After 3 or 4 pints of Scrumpy, you must be absolutely fine. There you go. So listen, you know, I'm not going to beat around the bush here, Cheo. Have you got any sketches that we can have a look at while you're sitting in your abode?
Well, sketches.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, hold on.
Yes, he's got some.
Let's have a look. I did have. I've got thousands of them, but
yeah. Where are they when you ever need them? It's a bit like a bus, right?
Pencil sketches.
Get some of this.
So that's how deep it is.
Wow. All well
so
rendered,
just
ordered.
Grab handfuls.
Let's go.
I'll get the colour ones.
Yeah, go with the colour ones because it'll probably save you. Yeah, it'll save you a bit of time with that box there, putting it all back, right?
See, sometimes I treat them with respect and I put them in folders.
Oh.
So it's, you know, I just sort of.
Oh my God, that is cold. Look at the hands on that. Gee, that's the style there, boy.
I don't know, a smoking dolphin for some reason and some other stuff.
It's so good. See, that slime is bonkers, bro. Nah, you're too much. Not on a Saturday, bro. You're too much. It's too late in the afternoon.
It keeps going. There's hundreds of them, but
wow.
Yeah, it depends how much you want to look at. But it's sort of this kind of stuff I love doing. Sort of just.
Yeah.
But I'll draw this guy and then I'll think, oh, I'll stick a frog on his hat, you know, for some fucking reason. Yeah, and then this is anthropomorphic, you know, like trains for faces and shit like that.
There you go. Yeah, that's hard. Look at that.
Yeah, I've got tons of that shit.
Yeah, I mean, there must be very little that you can. You know, when you've got a talent like that, you know, I mean, the first thing I think of is skateboards, flyers, you know, Procreate, jump on there, get some tattooing done. Yeah. I mean,
but the
everything.
death of my artwork, really, I'm sorry if I butted in, but if I get a thought, it's got to come out. Go. I've started doing kind of, you know, the digital drawing. And I'm kind of getting sick of it because it's taken away the essence of it. It's given me, you know, I've given away style for ease, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. I do know what you mean.
and I need to really cut back on that. It's great for jobs and things like that, you know, because you just fire across ideas and emails, but it hasn't got the flavor that it should have.
The energy.
Yeah, it's just the tactile sort of finishing of a drawing.
Yeah.
Sooner than just going blip blop, you know. It's like,
Yeah.
and you haven't got that satisfaction as well. It's kind of feels like you cheated.
Yeah.
You don't put the effort in.
You know, DJs, when Serato came out, I was only speaking to DJ IQ about this the other day. It's true. Like, it almost restricts you in their idea that this is meant to simplify and make things easier. It doesn't.
Yeah. It's sort of, I don't know if it cheapens it. It kind of, I don't know if ease, getting something to make it easier is better.
Yeah.
You got to have a bit of a struggle, you know what I mean? Or you don't feel like you've achieved anything.
Well,
it's
you
like
don't
all
think
these
you've
AI
progressed
wankers
either.
out there now that are doing. No, I mean, it like this, all this AI stuff as well. It's just like text to artwork.
Yeah.
And there's all Instagram things of AI art, and you think, well, who do I say is the artist? The person who wrote the keywords to get what came up. I don't know.
Well, that is a
I'll
subject,
never
isn't it?
use it.
No. But have you done NFTs before? You done any NFTs? Or?
Yeah, with your boy, sir.
Ha! Big up! GraffPunks, hold tight.
Yeah, it's really strange. We were just about to do a whole range of NFTs. I don't know whether he's done it or not. I did hundreds of them.
Wow.
And he was getting them all locked and ready and done in Ukraine.
Yeah.
Just as the war started.
Oh, good.
So
it
pissed it all up the wall.
Yeah.
And it's just been in the air since then, you know. So I've got a whole we got a whole thing of NFTs with Graffiti Kings at some point.
Yeah, big ups all day.
Yeah.
Good peoples. And you know, I know what you mean from a technology point of view, because it aids people, but does it aid the people that created the foundations for those people to instigate what they want to do, you know, without... no, here's what it is. Right. And I think it follows in suit with the Procreate thing. If you're using the machine, and like you say, it loses the fun, I would argue the energy suddenly dissipates and it becomes almost like cookie cut. And if it's cookie cutting anyway, then how are people going to progress within themselves?
Yeah, I can see it, because I do find myself getting in a loop with it, because you do something and then you think, well, that was easy and that was quick, and then you do something and that was you don't test yourself.
No.
And you don't make mistakes, because you can't make mistakes. You just press back twice and the mistake's gone. But if you've got a canvas in front of you and you've just spent 2 hours and then you sneeze on the bastard, and you know that there's some jeopardy there, and there's a bit more sort of thought, and you know, you sort of treat it with a bit more respect.
Yeah.
Plus, there's the trace option and things like that. You just get a picture off the internet, you stick it in the background, and you draw around it. You know, and you just think it's just.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been guilty of it myself, and then I take a long, hard look at myself in the mirror, and say what you're doing, and try to.
Your conscience kind of gets the better of you.
Oh God, yeah.
Really?
Because you just sort of stagnate. Your brain stagnates because you're not. It hasn't come from anywhere, you know. It's come from someone else, and then you've decided to do it yourself. You know.
Yeah, it's plagiarism. Yeah, it's a hard one, isn't it? Sometimes when you use technology, and I've put in a real instrument in, but with the idea to curve the sound to my liking and recreate it beatbox wise. I guess that's a
Yeah.
bit like tracing, isn't it?
No. Yeah, but you are
human tracing.
no, it's not like tracing at all because but that's still coming from you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're not. It's still part of you actually reproducing it. Whereas, like doing what you just said is the same as pen to paper because you're doing something physically, reproducing it physically.
Yeah.
I'm
Totally.
doing that physically. But if you made a noise and then put it into a computer and then change that to sound better, then you've lost the interaction,
essence.
if you know what I mean, the essence. I mean, you probably do. I'm guilty of it. Everyone's guilty of it. Do you know what I mean? It's nothing to be. I don't know. It's my inconscience beating me up, really, thinking stop being a lazy twat and do some proper drawing. But it's just comfortable and easy.
Integrity is the
fall
word, isn't
into
it?
that. Yeah, and I sort of, and I feel like I'm cheating myself, as you say. It's sort of, well, I've never done. I think it was 2013 was the first time I ever did anything digital at all.
Wow.
As soon as Procreate came out, because I could never do it, I'm terrible on computers. So as soon as that came out, I thought, and I saw a couple of YouTube clips, and I thought, oh, I could do that. And I bought an iPad, and I was off, and I thought, oh, this is going to be brilliant. And then you just get in the loop. Anyway, that's getting boring.
No, because honestly, I've been there. I have been there. I've used it, and at first it's like, oh wow, this is. So I just all I do is just that, and that's it. And it kind of fixes itself and things like that. It's like, oh.
Yeah, you go, oh, I want a circle, so I just do a rough ass circle and then hold it on there, and it does a circle.
That's crazy.
But you try and draw a circle on a piece of paper and see how many times you've got to try before you get to that. Yeah. I mean, I can do it, obviously. But...
yeah, totally. Yeah. Very good. It's all part of the insanity that we like to have within ourselves, isn't it, my brother? I think that's what most people celebrate within any passion and appreciation for artists is the integrity that they hold.
Yeah,
I think that's the biggest concern.
I like to feel that there's a connection as well. I love pencil sketches.
Yeah.
For some reason, I would sooner own a pencil sketch. Well, that is a Vaughan Bodie original pencil sketch.
What?
And that's the book that the cover of the sketch is the book.
No way.
So that's an original print book of that sketch. So, yeah.
It's never going to be a fucking basic podcast. This is fucking great.
You want to look at it? I'll give you a little walk.
Yeah, as long as the signal holds up, let's go.
Right.
Let's go for a walk.
So that's the sketch.
Oh wow! What?
And that's the book. So it's sort of that's the initial idea.
Dude, that's priceless right there.
Yeah, it's sick, isn't it? I got it all framed, and this is the first print hardback of the book. So
wow.
Yeah, it's sick. That's one of my dad's. That's one of my dad's airbrushing.
Lovely.
I covered her boob.
What for the podcast?
Yeah, that's his skateboard, and that's the first version of my book that I did. But yeah, there he is, jumping over the barrels
on the ice.
He had the world record.
Yeah, I was about to say, is there a Guinness Book of World Records on that?
Yeah, he jumped 18, exactly the same as the world record.
On ice?
Yeah.
No less.
And that was, so I did something for Mr. Men, So
Hip hop, Mr.
That
Men.
was Mr. Graff. That was.
Stop it. That's incredible. Did that actually get published?
Yeah, well, I had to do it for it was like a promotional thing and an Upfest thing. You can have a little look around all the other crap
Yes,
I got
please.
as well.
Actually, while we're on the subject,
But-
what kind of pens do you use? What kind of instruments? What tools?
Well, I use
I mean, this
these
is
are
giving
all
away
the
the
kind
secrets here, isn't it?
of these are the graphic markers.
Right.
So all these, and they're everything. I've got no preference really.
Right.
But then we got and then the Posca,
Jeez.
which I use on canvases.
If you point that in
Yes,
front of me, I
well-
think they're going to shoot at me or something. I said, honestly, they are fucking ready to go.
Yeah, I've just got them so I can drag them out. You know what I mean?
Wow.
I've got all the. There's my retro corner with all my when I'm bored.
Man, this is a real insight, brother. This is incredible, Cheo.
And then I got the, and then all my. I still watch DVDs because I'm an old twat.
Oh my god! I mean,
So,
I'm just, this is my heaven, bro.
Yeah, this is. I mean, this is 52 years in the making. This is I've had to sit in the corner of a flat or a friend's house or whatever. This is the first opportunity I've had to have my own space.
Really?
Yeah, it's always been kind of. This is the first space really. I've had a couple of studios, but I was an alcoholic prick when I had them, so I didn't really. I didn't use them professionally, if you know what I mean.
I know you never really appreciate the drink when you're an alcoholic, do you?
No.
Never mind the artwork.
No. I kidded myself that I had to be drunk to create. You know what I mean?
Jinx yourself.
So it was like, it was just, and then it got into a vicious sort of routine where I was just constantly pissed. So until my wonderful fiance turned up, and then I thought, I can't mess this up. I'm gonna calm down, and it
That's
just
a
went
beautiful
from
thing.
there, really.
Good influences and good energy. That's what it's all about.
Oh yeah, she saved my life, mate.
Really?
Really did. Yeah, I was on the brink.
Really?
So yeah, just through abuse, just sort of self-abuse with booze and drugs and all that sort of crap. And then she came along, and I just thought, there's someone willing to put up with my shit. I don't want to mess this up.
I'm going to de-shit myself.
I just change.
Yeah. Make myself good again.
I literally had a light bulb moment, which it's a cliche moment, but I'd had 3 bottles of wine and a few pints of cider.
Yeah.
A couple of grams of coke.
Yeah.
And I thought it would be a good idea to go and take a bath. So I ran a bath and got in it. As I got out and I went to clean myself, I smashed the light bulb above me.
Yeah.
So I got out the bath, trod in all the broken glass, went and got a new light bulb, stood back in the water and unscrewed the light bulb to put the new one in, and then it came on. And I thought, I could have just completely fried myself. All the wires were hanging out and everything. I don't know how I didn't blow up.
That's really is what you call a light bulb moment.
It was, yeah. And I looked in the mirror and my face was all bloated and I was a complete mess. And I thought, you've got to sort this out, mate. So, and that was that. Yeah. So I'm not as big a drinker as I used to be, but.
Wow, ain't that something? So that's a milestone moment, really.
Yeah, it was nuts.
Boy. But you're happy now. You're good now. That's the main thing.
Yeah, I'm all good, mate. I got a smelly old dog and a wonderful missus. So
what could possibly go wrong, huh?
and a shed.
And a
what
shed.
more does a man want?
Yeah, exactly. And the future's bright. Any plans, any projects, anything coming up in the future, my brother?
Yeah, it's always just bits and pieces happening, Just I've just bought out a new book. I've made 20 books, so it's nothing new.
Yeah.
Um,
I know you're
but
you're proficient at the moment.
this one, the Gert one, I've just brought. It's not even for sale yet. I only took it to my business partner today, who's gonna, and then it'll go on for sale. But I got another one in the pipeline, which is just being printed. It's just bits and pieces, mate. Everything from doing skateboards for people to bedrooms to offices to whatever. I'm not fussy.
Your life sounds so much fun.
No, it's not.
It sounds fucking fun, dude. Creative output all the time.
Yeah, until you hit a wall, which I get very occasionally, but yeah, it happens,
Yeah.
But then it's not so much fun.
Yeah. I think we all struggle with that sometimes. I think it's the motivation. Yeah.
It's because talking about Deed, he can go years without doing anything and just hating everything, and then he'll have a walk in the hills and what have you, and he'll come up with an idea, and then he's all excited again. And he doesn't put out much at the moment, but he's still doing stuff.
I love that.
He loves it.
Yeah. Awkward, big up Awkward as well. Got to give Awkward a shout.
Yeah.
Churro, big up Churro.
Churro. Well, I'm actually seeing him next week.
Big him up. Listen, hail out. Honestly, these names are so pivotal in my career. Full stop. It's really been a pleasure talking to you, brother. Honestly, it's been
it's been lovely. I don't usually do this, so I hope it wasn't awkward and boring. But yeah, it's been a pleasure.
It's been a lot of fun getting to know you as well, brother.
Nice one.
Well, on that note, then you've had enough. You can't possibly want any more. And if you want more, you go and find Cheo. You know who he is. You're on the gram, and pick up a copy of whatever he's got copying. Look, Killa Kela podcast out with fashion. As always, remember, crime don't pay, but neither do they. So don't talk to one and I wouldn't, and you stay lucky, people.